Hi, my name's Harry Jun.
My name is David Park.
My name's Paula, and today I'm going to be explaining to you the Korean word Han.
We go Han and a bit of Hangul. Hey.
If you could use one emoji to depict Han, which emoji would you choose?
It's the sighing one.
If you were to explain the concept of Han to a 10-year-old, how would you break it down?
I feel like I'd have to give a bit of a historical context because the oppression from the war and, Japanese occupation, I think a lot of Korean people have harbored a lot of resentment.
It was first termed as the anti-colonial sentiment that people felt as a result of colonization that ended in the 1950s.
So to this 10-year-old, I'd be like, have you ever been upset at maybe your little brother or sister for having something that you wanted? Imagine that, but for like 30 years. Mum cooks rice at home and that is a pressure cooker, but that pressure has nowhere to go. And it's just building up and you're dropping things because you're so upset. Yeah, and then the 10-year-old kid's like, yeah. I'm like, that's Han, bro.
Do you think Han is a good thing?
So it's bad for you, it's bad for your body, you shouldn't harbour negative feelings. But I think in the historical sense, it's important to remember things that your higher generations have gone through in terms of preventing similar things from happening in the future.
It's relatable, I think, to a lot of ethnicities, cultural groups around the world. This idea of oppression, holding on to anger, grudges.
Han is something that is so integral to the history of Korea. We've been through a lot of trial and adversity in our history. No other word can kind of describe it except the word Han.
Yeah, just acknowledging where certain mindsets and behaviours of our parents and grandparents have originated from. So positive, but for the individual, negative, because you don't want to be feeling those things.
It's like a yin-yang, like there's good, there's bad. Holding on to any negative energy can fracture families. I love my dad, he's awesome, but I have spoken to a lot of Korean men my age who've had emotionally distant fathers. And I think this culture and history of holding on to your trauma or oppression or bad things that have happened to you does create an emotional distance because maybe they're taught to hold on to it and not act out. So then they don't voice their disappointment and anger to their children. They hold on to it and it's vented in other ways that aren't so productive or nice.
Can you think of an example of when Han was apparent in Squid Game?
This is spoilers, so if you haven't watched Squid Games, you need to pause right now. And the mood is going to get real down here. So if there's like a bright soundtrack playing, we gotta turn that into like strings or something. Our main character wins the game and he goes home. He finds his mother dead on her bed alone, and he just holds her and just starts crying. He carries things inside throughout the whole series where he wants to do good for his mom, but he finds that he can never find the social circumstances to give his mom the comfort that he so desires for her. And at the end, when he does have it, he wasn't able to give his mom anything.
When you're hard done by, like you're oppressed, you really want to find a rebalance in justice. I think that final act of Ki-eun returning to the game to try and fix it is this idea again. There's so much trauma that he went through, but it's unresolved. He's got to do something about it. He's got that Han in him. He's got the fire. Like fire has to escape or die. And we Koreans, we need his hair's on fire. It's red. He's like, and I totally understood it.
How do you think someone can control their sense of Han?
See a psychologist. But seriously speaking, just know that it's there. Know that you have it. And know that it's not wrong to have it. It is inherently part of your identity. If used well, it can actually be fuel and it can be used as a fire to really get that steam engine like plowing through. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me. This was Koreans Explain and see ya.